Literally. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Reason Reborn, episode 8. I was just explaining to my fellow, how could I say this?
Negro?
Well, yeah, you are a fellow Negro. Um, but there has to be a word for people who have to weather this storm that we are going through politically and socially. Um, I don't know. We have to come up with a word for that.
I'm sure
But
it's out there.
I would just say I'm here with my partner in crime, Cardiac Sumo. Say hello to the people.
What up? I don't appreciate being called partner in crime. I feel like there was some racist undertones right there.
No, nothing racially. It's just that know that when they knock at your door, that I will pay handsomely for you to keep quiet. Okay.
Okay. What's going on, people?
All right. I was just explaining to him. I got this on because I just got in the house like literally 10 minutes ago. I had to run to Redbox, take back Assassin's Creed, so I don't get charged another day. Then I had to stop and get some Kit Kat. So
I'm pretty sure you're full of shit. You just wanted to try out a different look for the podcast.
No, I'm
Trying
not
to bring Marcus
kidding.
out here.
Here's the Kit Kat.
Yeah, I'm sure you bought it earlier today just to like build up this lie. It's just been sitting on your
No, I got off stream. I was streamed Assassin's Creed till about. It took me till 8:10 because the last boss wouldn't die. The boss that I was fighting wouldn't die. He was the son of a bitch. And then finally I killed him, and they were like, "Oh, now you got another part of the mission." I was like, "You know what? Fuck this. I'm just gonna save it and go. Take it back." And then, like, since the box is in front of a CVS, I figured, hey, it's the holidays. They probably got candy on sale.
Yes. I was pretty mad when you said you were streaming because I wanted to watch, but I was putting back together my PC for like the last 2 hours because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing apparently.
There were shenanigans in that game. That game is just like full of like bullshit. I didn't kill any horses this time.
It's sad that you're proud of that, but cool.
I mean,
that's an accomplishment for you, not engaging in animal cruelty. Like,
I mean,
whatever.
Again, look at my YouTube channel. You'll see I didn't intend to kill the animal. What I did do, though, was I killed a couple of people with firebombs because they got in the way of me fighting someone. I was like, people, you see blood splattering everywhere. People fighting. Why are you running into the battle? So a couple of innocent bystanders did fall.
Because they were a minor convenience to you. Good shit.
How cold is it there? Oh God, it is so cold, and now it's like 40-mile-an-hour winds. It feels like outside on top of the cold. Let's see. It is currently 28 degrees.
Good God.
Yeah,
I'm asking that because like I live in Florida. For those of you guys that don't know, and it's like 60 something now, or it was like 60 in my house. I think it's been like maybe upper 50 at some point. And I'm already bitching out. Like I'm already done.
No.
I'm used to the sunshine. I'm done.
Come here again. This is all this because come here and like, good Lord.
What scared me is I'm going up to New York, 2 weeks maybe in a couple of weeks, and like I'm dying here. I need to go buy some shit to actually wear in New York, and I don't even know how to fucking dress up there.
Get a puffy coat. Get layers. Make sure you have layers. Get a scarf.
Oh God.
Yeah, I actually left my scarf because I was in such a rush. I left my scarf and my gloves, and my hands were really, really freezing, and it was just a mess. All right, let's get to the topics because we're all wondering what today's shenanigans are. First off, of course, you know there's been a whole just stampede of guys who want to exceed themselves in being creeps, it seems. Like, I don't know the name of that chef, but that chef, he came out and he was like, I apologize. So, like, I don't remember exactly when. His apology basically was, I don't remember exactly when or where it happened or who it happened to, but the stories that I heard sound like something I would do. That was basically his apology, you know. So this guy's like been such a creep that he doesn't even remember how many women he's violated in his life, which I find quite disturbing. More disturbing is that Al Franken stepped down along with John Conyers. Al Franken was probably on the fast track of being a presidential candidate for 2020. Now his career is over. And we have a Republican who came forth, Trent Franks, who decided to step down under the investigation that the House is, the House of Representatives and Senate are now trying to get together and do. How much do you know about the Trent Franks dude?
Not at all.
Okay, so I was telling you he was a creep before. The reason why I say he was a creep is because he offered one of the women $5 million to have his baby.
God damn, I'd have the motherfucker's baby.
I mean, I would too, but at the same time, it's like, dude.
Not saying she should have. That was a joke, by the way. Nobody come after me.
Hey, you know.
$5 million.
I would love to see. I would actually give you $5 million myself if you could get pregnant.
To have a kid, like
for you to get pregnant, not
damn.
I want to see that happen.
Not even just for. I mean, I guess $5 million is a little much for sex, but fuck.
But I found that very strange and creepy because normally they pay you money to not have the baby. So.
Was there any details on that? Like, does he just get off on fathering offspring?
Well, he was trying to say that he was trying to basically make her a surrogate. That's what he was trying to do. But of course, he was trying to do more than just be a surrogate. He was trying to fuck her to have his kid. That's where the creepy part really comes in.
Is he religious? Maybe he felt like, it needed to be done the way God intended.
Fuck your wife. Get her pregnant.
Can she get pregnant?
I didn't notice that detail. If she can't, there's adoption.
Yeah.
And there's proper surrogacy. Which, hey.
None of those include sex.
Put it in a tube and put it in the other person.
None of those are very sexy. But
no, it's not. But hey, fuck it. He's out. Who else will be out? We have no clue. We'll see though. Moving on.
We're gonna have a Senate and a House of just women by like 2019 or some shit.
That would actually be awesome. And then you find out that Elizabeth Warren touched the child or something like that.
Yeah, she would be the one fucking woman in there.
Yo, if she falls, I don't really care about these dudes falling. If she falls, I give up. She is my shining hope. She is my guiding light. I
mean, if you have all these guys falling, I wonder how, you were talking about Franken being on the fast track for at least a candidacy or shot or something. People talk about her with all this shit going down on the guys. I'm wondering if that might have a positive effect on her chances or not.
I mean, there's not going to be any males to run in this country because it seems like every male feels the need to touch someone inappropriately or to say something inappropriately or to rape them or to go after kids. It's like it's a never-ending cycle. So yeah, you might get an all-women Congress within the next 5 years because men ain't shit right about now.
I mean, either it's going to be very good for female, members, legislators, I guess, in general, or there could be some sort of weird male backlash in a couple of years.
Well,
I mean, this shit is going
down. We're going to be in the Planet of the Apes. It's going to be awesome. I will be a servant for the female side. I'm going to work with them.
Well, let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
Very rough looking terrain right now. Kind of hard to predict on that.
And we'll get back to the creepy old men thing later because there's an important election going on today as we record.
I was hoping to have the answer to that by the time I finished putting this fucker together, but
yeah, it seems to be closer than they thought it would be, I guess.
By they thought
they closed at 8:15, so
yeah,
We will get the results.
Did they think that it was going to be a landslide for more, or?
Well, last week when they did the polls, it got really, really close. It was like this guy had like 47% to Moore's 49 at the time.
Mm.
So it started to get close, and a lot of people were starting to change their mind. I think one poll even had dude possibly winning 51 to 49. So
I mean, either way, these are still between Moore and Douglas or whatever. Surprisingly close.
yeah, Doug Jones. How was that video that I had you watch? I know you enjoyed that video.
Yes, Mr. Magus over here sent me a video of, I don't know what you call them, Alabamans, Alabama maniacs. I don't know what the fuck they are. People from Alabama weighing in on the whole election and Moore situation, and it was not surprising, but it was dismaying. Just,
I want them to change their thing to Alabama maniacs. Alabama maniacs. That should be what you call them. Yeah, it was disheartening to see people. And we're gonna like kind of touch on that because they checked all the boxes politically, which it's sad that those are the only three things needed to put someone in office. It's not moral character, it's not his political position, how he handles issues and things like that, or his record or reputation. It's three things. He's white male, Republican, he's a Christian. In that video, that's all people said. Like one guy even like was straight up, it's like, well, I don't want a Democrat in Alabama.
You know what? I appreciated it. He was on it, like just plainly saying it. I don't want a Democrat. He couldn't back it up with any good argument, but he said it plainly. I don't want a Democrat. I remember a few of the ladies, like you were saying, you know, he's a good Christian, which I didn't quite know what that meant, but
good Christians chase underage women. That's what a good Christian do. Okay.
Whatever her interpretation of a good Christian is, yeah. I guess that's fine. There was one woman in that video who said something like, you know, the reporter asked her if any of these allegations or whatever bothered her, and she was like, you know, no, everybody's made a mistake. God forgives everyone. Nobody's perfect. And I was like, that is the worst moral argument I've probably heard for anything ever. That was fucking incredible.
Yeah, I need to like go rob a bank and then tell the judge, "Don't make mistakes. God forgives. You should too."
I mean, people do that though. I don't. I remember seeing a video a couple months ago. Somebody shared on the Facebook, and it was this dude whose son was killed by a criminal or something, and I think they were in court, and he was saying, you know, I forgive you. It's not your fault. The devil made you do it. Blah blah blah. And everybody was like, "Man, look at him! So much forgiveness! Wow!" And I was like, I actually got up and walked out of the room. I was so fucking mad. Like,
I wouldn't be mad. Well, how would I say? He's better than me, I guess.
Not better than me.
I wouldn't have said the devil made you do it. No, you killed my child. I don't know. How did he kill a child? He shoot him?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, you shot my child, you know.
Because it was like this nice story of like forgiveness, which is, you know, it made me think about that Christian lady, and I was like, but you're forgiving for stupid reasons. It made me like that same level of annoyed.
Well, the counterpoint would be he just did that to fuck with dude's head, because I mean, if that guy does have some type of a conscience, that would really fuck with you sitting in the jail knowing that the guy whose son you killed isn't mad at you and he wishes you. It's like, oh, it makes you seem even that much more of a scumbag now.
Good. Yeah. Yes, but that was just a similar example. But main point, these Alabamaniacs or whatever. These
I have to look this up now because this is going to bother me, just like hippopotamuses.
I'm betting it's Alabamans. For some reason, that rolls off the tongue to me.
Alabamian.
Nope, fuck that. I will not accept that one at all.
Alabamians? Sounds like a disease.
Oh my god! But I think we've talked about
No
it.
offense to people from Alabama, at least the ones that are cool. The rest of you guys who are voting for Roy Moore, go fuck yourselves. Seriously. Or no, never mind. You're already fucking yourselves by voting this guy in the office. My bad.
I say fuck you guys just for being Alabamians or whatever the fuck that. No, I gave you two better options: either Alabamans or Alabamaniacs. You have two.
Yeah, Alabamans makes way more sense. Alabamians.
Like I said, it didn't. I think what made me sad when I watched that, because I said it was like dismaying. It's not just the irrational level of party loyalty. It's not just the religious fixation. It's the idea that they're kind of feeding into the stereotypes of the South. You know what I mean? I tend to feel bad when we make fun, not us in particular, but just America in general makes fun of people from the South for being exactly the way those people actually were in that video.
Yeah, because the South's always been having this reputation of being like 3 steps behind in the evolution scale. But you see stuff like this and you're like, you kind of bring it on yourselves. And again, he's from Florida. I'm from Georgia. And I'm sorry, but there are a lot of people in Georgia that I'm like, why? This is what represents the state. Why? Like, I don't get it.
I wish the reporter in that video had asked that guy who said, "I don't want a Democrat. What's wrong with a Democrat?"
Yeah.
I want some of them to elaborate on what the problem is.
Yeah, because people like that, you can tell they just don't know anything about anything. They're just doing it because, again, we check these boxes. You make sure that you fit in certain things. It's like and this isn't something that's just foreign to Republicans. It's something that Democrats do too. It's like, are you a liberal? I guess it's only like we got to check. I thought I was gonna try to make a like argument for that, but we got too many damn boxes, and it's like optional. So yeah, you can't even make that comparison to the parties.
I wouldn't, and even with the liberals, like I'm sure some of them feel that way, but I don't think any of them are so direct in that manner. Not that. How do I say it? I don't think they think about it that much because you always hear people on the right, making fun of liberals, specifically like libtards, is that you don't really hear people call out conservatives or Republicans too much. You hear Republican stuff a little bit more, but it's just not at the same level.
No, because you pretty much only call them out when it comes to political issues, when it comes to things that they do in office. Being a liberal, quote unquote, makes you a disgusting person. It's like, it's basically you're a pariah to them. It's like, oh my God, a liberal. Oh my God, we need to run or else they're going to make us do good things. I don't know. I never really understood like the big, huge wall against liberalism.
Yeah, I like your distinction. It's on the liberal side. It's so when they do complain about Republicans, it's about policy issues, the way they handle immigration or spending, stuff like that. And the other way around, it's there is no real rationale. I think some of them will look at liberals as like pussies who want to take the guns away, or
yeah. See, that's not even
open up the borders, or just they have these weird stereotypical views of.
And that it's funny that you brought the guns thing up because I was looking at something. I forget exactly what the story was, but they made the argument that this guy doesn't have an issue with whatever it was, but he wants to take all the guns away from people. And I'm like, do y'all realize that nobody does? No, okay, it was the amendments. It was something about the whole thing with Roy Moore, which is one of our topics. In 2011, Roy Moore, of course, being the ever so lovely gentleman that he is, made the argument that the Constitution would be better off if we got rid of all amendments after the 10th Amendment, which is very fitting because the 13th and 15th Amendment, 13th through 15th Amendment, is something that me and you kind of are happy that happened. That is the abolition of slavery, barring people from actually being able to conduct slavery in the United States, and allowing anybody of any race, color, or creed to vote in this country, the right to vote for African Americans and other minorities. The 17th and 19th Amendment holds dear to the women. 17th being women's suffrage, where they were allowed the right to vote, and 19th being the law that there should be no discrimination regardless of your sex, age, or race. So pretty much he wants to get rid of anything that turned this country into a more less caveman-like environment. He wants to pull us all the way back.
So I did hear about that, but what was his rationale for making that argument about cutting it off at 10?
Too much legislation, too many regulations to stop the law from doing what they're, because there are some laws in there that we kind of need too. Like, I forget if it was the 22nd Amendment, which shortened Senate terms and made it so that every state had to have could only have two senators in the House, in the Senate, and there were a couple other things like that, like limited presidential terms and all that type of stuff. Weirdly enough, prohibition is in there, and the repeal of prohibition is in there. So I guess he wants it to be back to the old days where anybody could run liquors through the streets. No regulation, no government regulation of alcohol. So fuck it, everybody make their own bathtub whiskey and shit like that.
I'd ask because you're mentioning what all these post 10 amendments have done for us. I was wondering if he was specifically against things like abolishing slavery, or
and that's the thing. He didn't like go specifically, but it's like you got to question that because there's a lot of things out there that has brought equal rights to a lot of people. It's like, do you want women barefoot and pregnant again? Is that your goal? Like, stay in the house?
He's pretty old fashioned, so that wouldn't surprise me. But I mean, either he doesn't believe in equality, which is a very important liberal value, or he's too ignorant to go and look to see what the amendments were before he made such a radical claim. So he's either racist and sexist or stupid. Sorry, yeah. Alabama.
And that's the person they want to put in the office. It's like, that makes no sense at all. But this man is probably going to be there, and he's probably going to accept his victory with a Yosemite Sam hat on and two pistols. And
I was just about to say, I think he looks adorable in his little fucking hat. I was looking up something. I see that picture of him with like his cowboy hat and pointing the finger. I'm like, this guy's so adorable. What a little cowboy.
Right, but he's not going to be hunting rabbits. He's going to be hunting black people, probably.
I saw, I don't know what the fuck it was. Somewhere it was a headline that said, the whole world is paying attention to this local election, I guess. And I was like, it's weirdly true because that helps make a statement about how we feel about party loyalty, about sexual allegations and stuff, how damaging that can be to someone's chances. The statement isn't looking too good right now that we're making, that they're making to the country and to the rest of the world.
Yeah, you would think that people want someone who's not morally corrupt and that will make decisions that will benefit his, base. And this man does none of that. All he's going to do is, if he gets in there, he just gives them a cushion to vote for the tax bill. That's all, and that's pretty much it.
So, random question: is Doug Jones an atheist or something? Like what?
He's not, he's a Democrat, and if you're a Democrat, that's another thing that I found weird. If you're a Democrat, you clearly are against God, which is not true at all. There are plenty. Again, we have never had an atheist in office. We've never had a non-Christian in the office of the president. People. There were Democratic presidents, and guess what? You know, they believed in God too. So I don't understand where that whole wall is. That's the weird like side of the like religious part of politics that just really kills me, because it's like, okay, if whether you believe in God is irrelevant, I need to know, what are you going to do while in office? That being said, Democrats generally check that box. So
I mean, he does. Like, I had to look it up. Like, he's not, because when I was still thinking about that lady saying he's a Christian or whatever. I'm like, I'm up, you know, based on what you just said and based on what I know about the history of our politics. Like, it's pretty likely he is too. Just we don't tend to elect like atheists or agnostics or anything. That's just not something we do yet.
No, we have not. There's been Jewish people, you know, Hindu,
Yeah.
Muslim, in all like lower levels of office, but
Sure.
no.
In a sense, like I would be surprised if he was not Christian of some kind.
Yeah,
Maybe Jewish, I could see it, but like when she said that, I'm like, I'm almost certain without looking at this guy's history at all that he's a Christian. That's just a matter of statistics and how we deal with that. So what's the fucking problem?
But he's Democrat. That's the box that they check when it comes to voting against things.
I think it's an interesting statement as to how Republicans seem to own certain aspects of life. Like they were seen as like the strong Christian base, even though like a lot of Democrats are Christian. They're always seen as and maybe this has changed more now, but they have historically been seen as the owners of patriotism. You know, they're always like their balls red, white, and blue or whatever. But as though Democrats are not patriotic, and I can detect a little difference, but I wouldn't say Democrats are lacking in love for the troops or not patriotic. They just tend to take ownership of that whole idea and act like they're the only ones that can have it.
Yeah, it's like taking the troops there. It's like, you know, Republicans are like more guns, more ammunition, more weapons for our troops. Democrats are kind of like, we want to make sure that our troops are safe, and we're trying to avoid as many conflicts as possible because we don't want to send someone's child out to die for political reasons. So let's try to like find another way, and let's not spend so much money on the like military. Well, it's like, no, you hate America because you ain't protecting us. Right. It's like, you know how much money we sink into the military, and how much money it costs to send all these troops abroad and things like that.
No, that's not, you know, that's not my endorsement of how Democrats always deal with the military, but
yeah,
I do think, well, we don't have to get into it here, but I don't always agree with the stance they take on domestic issues. But yeah,
as far as what?
Well, you know, you talk about the way they don't want, you know, to send people dying for no reason. That's definitely fine. I think there's this tendency with people on the left to feel like we just shouldn't intervene in any other country's affairs. You see it on the right a bit too. Just this, you know, we're here, we shouldn't be fucking with them, and that's often true. But we also live on the same planet with a lot of people, so we should have some interest in what's going on. I'm not saying our first instinct should always be to like hop in and do whatever the fuck we want, but can consider military intervention in some cases.
Yeah, no, I don't. I honestly think Democrats do consider it, but I think they try to exhaust options first.
Yes, definitely.
Which is the best thing. It's like Trump is squaring for a fight with North Korea. He keeps threatening, like, to do so. It's like, I understand this guy's crazy. He's getting weapons. He's weaponizing to a point where he could be just more than just hot air. that being said, you can't just sacrifice all of South Korea because they're going to get hit first. Because that's where we're going to have to go to conduct, if we conduct any military operations over there, we're going to have South Korea secure. And with this guy being so close to them and having weapons that can hit them, a lot of South Koreans are going to die before we can secure it. They even try to make a push on him. So are you going to sacrifice that country just to take out this guy?
I wouldn't be surprised if he does.
You know what I mean? But that's the thing. It's like you got the rest of East Asia. China still has ties to North Korea. Are they going to throw their weight towards them, or are they going to back down and be like, y'all have fun? Russia still has some involvement with the black market and weapons and things like that. What's Putin going to do?
I think you're thinking a bit more about it than the president does. So.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's what you should do. You need to find, it's a chess game. It's not checkers.
Yeah.
And so you need to make sure you know all the players on the board and where they're at before you jump, because you could end up being in a really bad situation for no reason. Like,
yes, definitely.
And that's why people have kind of like placated North Korea, and most presidents, they just ignored him. They let him say what he said. Oh, okay. They didn't respond to him. We have an idiot who responds to that stupid stuff. Like, ignore him.
Yeah. And in fairness, it's not, nor has it ever been really clear how exactly you should deal with North Korea, but it's almost definitely not the way Trump is doing it. Because like you said, it's a chess game. It's, a lot of people criticize the last few presidents for being too soft on North Korea, but there were complications that still exist or are getting worse as their weapons technology gets better. It's never been obvious what the fuck you could do about them. Are you gonna take out Kim Jong-un or whatever dictator was in the place at the time? Somebody else could jump up and take his place. It's not easy to get to him at all. But
a good lesson would be what's going on in Libya, where President Obama made the decision to go and just finally end Idi Amin. And even he said it was the biggest mistake of his life, because it was like, yeah, that guy is a fucking madman, but it's contained within those borders. It's like, president made that decision. Now they got slaves and stuff like that over there. It's chaos. They don't really have much government structure. And Obama said that was his biggest mistake as president, because he didn't have a real plan other than get rid of Amin, and he didn't think far enough ahead to keep involving themselves in the Libyan government as it built itself. And it's total chaos over there now. You have to think that, because again, we do this, we make this big push. Again, if it's only contained between us and North Korea and South Korea, okay, fine. You get Kim Jong-un, and now you try to reestablish a government between the two sides, probably reunify the country. But you're gonna have to sit there and you're gonna have to watch it. You can't just okay, we got them, we're done, because there's still gonna be a lot of people who love being separate, that are going to fight tooth and nail to not be under a one nation. There's going to be people who are going to come behind him. His children, where are they at? What are you going to do about them? Other family members, things like that. You know what I mean? So,
you could take a lot more involvement.
Yeah.
Which some people would say that we should not have intervened at all then, but I don't know that I agree with that either.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't have a. It is one of those things where it's like the best thing to do and the worst mistake ever type situation. When you meddle in things, it's funny because things were a lot simpler when it was just imperialism. You go, you conquer, you just basically you leave your own government there to run things and to, throw the whip to the people when they get unruly. But now in this whole situation where you're trying to allow everybody their own freedom, independence. It seems like that imperialism just really fucked things up once it went away because everybody's still going through growing pains from that. I mean, we just saw Trump just recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, something no president has ever done because no president is stupid enough to do that because they're not even going to try to pick sides between those two. Yeah, we're friendly with Israel, but when it comes to Jerusalem, that holy city thing, that blood war, you stay out of it. We chose a side now. So he just basically upped ISIS's recruitment because now it's clear. Fuck the Muslims.
I I don't know if you've ever had this experience with this, but you ever see like a headline with Trump and you just kind of assume like it's so fucking crazy. You assume like it's a satirical piece or a parody or a comedy thing. Like I saw that and I was like, that's not real. Come the fuck on. And then I saw it on TV and I was like, maybe it's real. What the fuck? I just didn't believe it on first sight. It's just one of those things with his fucking name. And this has happened on several occasions where it's like Trump did this or said this. I'm like, no, he didn't. Nobody's no. Even him. Come on. Give the motherfucker some credit. I guess I should stop doing that.
You try to give again. You try to give people the benefit of the doubt, and sometimes it's just not worth it. Some things, some people just are what they are, and there's no redemption for what they are. That man is a
wonderful president.
He's a fucking cartoon. It's a really good cartoon. And now you have the Senate trying to, a couple of senators who want to push for his resignation because of the sexual allegations that have been going on, which he's never going to bow down to because that guy.
Full circle. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, suggesting that he resign. No, if you want him out, you got to force him out. Why the fuck would he ever give up this position?
No.
Why? With his ego? No goddamn way. What?
No, he already thinks he's bulletproof as the president. Why would he?
But
I don't advocate that. I'm just gonna hold that comment. Anyway, don't advocate that, people. Don't do that. Please don't do that because that'll just make him a martyr to some people. Oh my God, could you imagine?
I mean, if he was forced to resign, he would become a martyr too. So
I would, but a martyr is less effective alive than dead.
Yeah,
because he can do enough to tank himself. He'll do enough to tank himself, and to make people realize, especially once he's out of office, if you see all the things that he's done, you realize that how much of a scumbag he is. Okay,
I feel like you have more faith in that kind of thing than I do. Because what I see happening is, after his second term, we'll probably get somebody on the left in office. It's kind of a backlash thing. And then because of the timing, we're going to be like, oh, man, everything is shitty. And there's a Democrat in office. Look whose fault that is.
Sir, you almost made me spit my Kit Kat out. Second term, what?
Do you think this dude isn't getting a second term?
No. For the love of God, no. He's not even going to survive his first term. This man eats like 2 fish fillets and like 2 Big Macs for dinner and shit like that. Something wild like that. Fucking ain't going to make it nowhere.
I mean, maybe we won't survive his first term, but he could.
You know what? I need to start training apes. So Caesar can rise and like fucking topple this guy. God damn it. Because the apes seem to be the only smart enough things on this planet right about now. If he gets voted in for a second term.
I think we all need to start thinking maybe by, what is it, 2018 coming up, right? So we'll get like those.
You're trying to tell me that by 2024, we're going to be like fucking, hell no.
I'm saying after we see how the elections in 2018 kind of shake out, we should seriously start thinking about how to counteract the motherfucker. Because I don't think it's going to be as obvious as easy as a lot of people might think just based on his performance right now. And he probably has like some, not him, but people around him probably have some magical strategy to keep him in there. I just think we shouldn't take for granted that his idiocy is proving itself out, because for a fair amount of people, it's not.
Ever seen the movie Idiocracy?
Mm-hmm.
This is what you're saying that we're destined for, right?
I actually did say that when I was younger and I saw that movie. Because I saw that movie and I was like looking around and I was like, man, I don't like the. I feel like I just saw the end of the trail and we're definitely on track. So
that movie is so prophetic now. Oh my god,
it's depressing. Can't wait to get some electrolytes.
What was the name of that stuff? I forget. Oh my god.
Brondo?
Yeah, Brondo.
Got electrolytes.
The fuck, man.
But, and I say that because we were just talking about Roy Moore, so I was actually relating that to him. You see a lot of similar behavior out of Moore. I saw it on the Summer Show yesterday. They were talking about the way he feels about the Russians or whatever. This dude's constant denial of facts, at least when it comes to sexual allegations. This maybe not the weird Christian bent thing, but you're seeing other people kind of act like Trump in some ways, and you're seeing it work for them. And I think we need to take seriously that this problem is starting to spread beyond Trump as others begin to adopt his psycho strategy. So I'm not as confident that he won't get a second term because
yeah, like what was the statement he made about he did make a statement about one of the amendment, about the 13th or 15th Amendment in that thing. I forgot about it. And his oh my god, let me pull that up because I should pull it up to quote it directly, but basically his reasoning for why, like, though it was not because they asked him if wouldn't that be bad? It was like, well, if you think about it, those laws were put to us at the point of a gun. So, and so yeah, he kind of does want to fucking bring it back to slave days because he made the argument that the 13th and 15th Amendment were forced upon us, basically, because the South lost the Civil War, and you know,
I guess
the Northern.
That might be his conception of us, Southern Americans. Who knows? Maybe he's so old fashioned. He's still living in the revolutionary Civil War days.
Yeah, biggest mistake when the North won the Civil War, they should have made those amendments and then had the 16th Amendment be the succession of the South, so we no longer claim them as a part of this country because they're batshit insane and they need to go like run themselves into the ground. And then the 17th Amendment, before women's rights to vote, which would have been the 18th after that, would have been to build the wall off the South and to like keep any person from the South from intermingling with Northerners. That's where the fucking wall needs to go up right now, because I hate to say this again. I'm from Georgia, but god damn it. Why is the South always the fucking problem politically? Like, you guys just do the dumbest shit. Why? Like the election in Atlanta. Did you hear about that for the mayor's office?
Is that where they were having that? I need to explain it because I was about to ask you, because I saw some shit about black people having a hard time voting in a certain place.
Well, no, this is Alabama actually.
That was Alabama. It's like,
yeah, basically what they've done in Alabama was they've started to close. They don't have the state's pretty much running low on funds.
right.
There's a shock. Look who's been running your government. Anyway, whatever. State's running low on funds, and to basically, I guess, help things, they're closing motor vehicle services in several counties where there will only be a handful in the state alone. The majority of the ones being closed, of course, no, all of them that are being closed are in all of the African American or
like
minority heavy,
75%
counties.
black or whatever.
Yeah,
I think you
basically.
shared this on Twitter or something like a few days ago or something. At some point when my computer was in pieces and I couldn't read it, but
Yeah.
I
And so now, basically, if you need to get your day-to-day motor vehicle services, you have to go to two particular counties or wherever else they may spare one to go get that. More importantly, um, that's where you register to vote. Most people,
yes.
of course, you can go to the post office and do that. Just to let you know, but motor vehicles generally automatically ask you, "Would you like to register to vote?" And they automatically put that in the system. Boom. But now people aren't going to be able to do that and be able to claim residency, or if their license expired, they can't vote because without a valid ID, you're not allowed to vote in this country.
Yes. Well, my apologies for mixing that up with the other story, but since we're on this, I think when you had shared out that tweet, I went to look at the comments, and there was at least one guy making this argument, and I'm sure other people made it that these black people can just go to those other
I knew
places.
you were going to point that one out because I saw that one too, and I wanted to punch that guy in the face.
I like he said something like they're not helpless
You're
children or
like,
something
yeah,
like
we're
that,
not
and I was like,
helpless. They can go find a way to get to the,
right.
like, that makes no sense
I mean,
whatsoever.
even if even if you want to say that they'll find a way if they really want to, that doesn't negate the fact that there is either an intentional or at least at best careless effect on their vote. I mean, whether they actually manage to find a way, they can find a way or not, this action is irresponsible. It's I was going to say illegal, not illegal. It's immoral. It's wrong in general. No matter what those black people manage to do, this action is wrong, and you shouldn't say like, well, they'll find a way, whatever. So what? That's not the point, really. That doesn't excuse what's being done there at all. That's a separate issue.
Yeah, no, it shows just how little people seem to care about others as long as they get their agenda taken care of. I mean, you're right. It's careless and it's immoral. It's all of that. It's financially irresponsible by whoever runs the state. Like the state legislation and the governor all need to go
Right.
because that shouldn't happen. That is like, that's a human service type thing. That's just like, one of those things that everybody should have access to in each county. That's unacceptable. Closing that down, and then you're putting more people out of jobs, which is a second thing unacceptable. And again, you found a way to legally subvert votership because 2018 seats are going to come up, and a lot of people aren't going to be able to vote, and that's just no.
Right.
That's irresponsible. And like a lot of people don't have computers to be able to send in absentee ballots and things like that.
Yeah. And like either way, I said either it was intentional, which is really fucked up, or at best it was just really stupid and careless. And that's the best interpretation I could give you for that. And the people who just say, well, they're not kids, they'll find a way, blah, 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 who don't seem to care or notice what the actual problem being pointed out here is. Like, I don't understand what the problem is there. This is a problem regardless of whether those people can find a way around it or not.
Yeah.
Like if I, put a bunch of thumbtacks and nails and broken glass at your doorstep and, spread them all out for like a few 100 feet or whatever, so you have to walk on them, you'll be like, oh, well, you'll find a way through that. You'll crawl or you'll hop or whatever, one leg. That's like saying it doesn't matter because you'll find a way through it. The point is I'm trying to hurt you, and that's wrong.
Yeah, this isn't Jurassic Park. Okay. Life ain't gonna you can't just say life will find a way and it happens.
And people do that so much to excuse really shitty behavior. I wanted to point that out because that really caught my eye, and I'm sure he felt like it was a very rational argument he was making, but it wasn't. It just missed
He
the
needs to get punched in
problem.
the face. Somebody needs to find out who he is and just punch him in the face, like really hard.
And I'm sure he was probably just a troll or an asshole or just being a dick in general. But
Don't
I
matter.
I wanted to take the argument he was trying to put out there seriously because I'm sure I've seen a lot of people make that kind of argument, and it's not as good as they seem to think it is at all. Like,
No, he thought he was being smarter than he
yes.
probably
They
is.
always present that as though it's the smartest argument ever. It's not. But
Yeah,
yeah,
just like the guy, like with the whole thing, people are upset that Roy Moore wants to take away every amendment at the 10th, yet liberals want to take away the Second Amendment. No, no one said that we wanted to get rid of the Second Amendment. You said we want better gun control, not take away your right to have a gun. Like when I saw that, I was just like, how dumb are you to think that that's a rational comparison? It's not even apples to oranges. It's like fucking
apples to
grapes
dog shit.
to it's grapes to dragon fruit. it, it's that far apart. That's how far apart it is.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just like dumb.
But I think it's on that you were talking about an issue in Atlanta now. This one I
Oh
actually am
yeah.
unaware of them.
Well, they just had elected a black female mayor. Congratulations, Atlanta. Democrat. She was going up against a Republican
Ugh,
white woman,
he's
which
a fucking
good on you,
Democrat.
Atlanta. You have two women vying for office. That was
Cool.
cool. Problem is the Republican one had issues because she'd been threatening that she was going to call for recounts and things like that because she thinks that there's something funny going on because there's no way that she could lose to this lady, even though you're running against a black female in a largely black populated city who's had a black mayor since probably since I was born. I can't remember the last time that Atlanta did not have a black mayor. Um,
Have they always been dirty Democrats though? Like, ugh,
yeah, they've all been Democrats too.
gross.
Yeah,
That place must
so
be a shithole then.
it is weird because Atlanta is like that, like one place in the sea of red. It's like that dot, like somebody just dropped a trickle of blue right in the middle, and they can't get it out. But she was talking about fighting tooth and nail and all of this and suing and all types of crazy shit because she can't lose. It's like
She's trying to save Atlanta from being a shithole. What do you mean?
I guess. I
God,
mean, I don't. I never understood what was her big argument. She was just like, "I'm not giving up. I'm not. No, we're gonna." She asked for a recount, which I found adorable because she got beat pretty good. So,
well, congrats to that disgusting liberal over there, whatever the
yeah, I
fuck she
forget
was.
her name. Katina would kill me if she saw this. Sorry. Yeah, but it's
I
just
would say
weird.
I would say it was a spot of good news, but I guess it shouldn't be. It's not really impressive, is it? Because it's not like she won in a blood red district or something.
Yeah, let's just hope she keeps herself clean. Maybe she can move up in the ranks and be a positive force in the Senate or House of Representatives one day.
Stop
Yeah.
touching those kids, man.
Well, I mean, at least she doesn't check that box. She's not a dirty old man.
We don't know.
As far as I know, she doesn't harass women. I mean, there's a lot of strip clubs in that area.
Can't wait for those images like 10 years later. You're going to see some shots of her from 2017, like groping women. If the president could do it, why not me?
I mean, at this point, you know what? That should be the mantra right now. Which kind of makes it like sad that Al Franken quit because he might have been able to run off that platform. But I mean, shit. I'm a dirtbag, but so is the president. What about it? At least I can count to 10. Yeah.
That's not fair. I'm sure Trump can at least count up to 9, and that's close enough. That's
Mm.
me. You're a dick. Oh shit.
I would be willing to make a wager on that, but I'm not. If your president could count to 10,
And it should certainly not be ignored on that note that Trump is as many people have said, I don't know why this phrase is going around, but like full throatedly or whatever, endorsing this motherfucker, this Roy Moore guy. Uh,
yeah, I don't.
he's backing this guy. This is his guy. Why the fuck is Trump always having these fucking rallies?
He needs self reassurance. That's my whole take on the rallies. Is that it's self reassurance for his ego, because I've never seen a president do so many rallies. Like, only time I've ever seen presidents go is when they're speaking towards an issue, when they're at a certain event that's celebrating something, or highlighting something happening. This guy just goes out to rally just because, hey, remember me, I'm great. Like,
Yes.
look at me. Okay, so I'm looking at CNN right now, and they're flipping through different counties.
Oh God, I don't want to hear the results anymore.
It's looking closer. Like, there's only 55% of the vote is in. Right now, he has a 51 to 47, 52 to 47% lead for that seat. Oddly enough, there's actually more blue counties than I thought in Alabama. That's weird.
So
It honestly looks like a third of the state has sense. And oddly enough, the capital, Birmingham, voted for the county of the capital. It went blue. 63% to 37%. Wow, that must be where all the black people live. Or all the women, or all the gay people, or all the anything that's not a white male.
If it's the capital, it's probably got a higher population, more diverse. But
of course, Selma and Tuscaloosa would be would be blue. That makes sense.
But I feel like no matter which way this goes, we still have the same problem we had with the presidential election, which is you should not be like this shouldn't be this fucking close. It just shouldn't be.
No, the fact that it's this close is actually kind of amazing, which is showing that people are kind of waking up, and that 2018 is going to be an interesting year because you couldn't have told me it would be this close. I would have thought that like they would have just been like, fuck Democrats, more, whatever, boom, and just totally give it to them.
Okay, so you're counting
count was like 382,000 to 341, about 342,000. So it's honestly, it depends on what counties are up next in the population.
No, but I think what you said, because when I was noting that, I was saying that it shouldn't be this close because it should be obvious. It sounds like you're saying in the past you would have expected this to still be a landslide for more. So you think people are coming out more, realizing what a problem we have. You think the fact that it's close is more of an improvement as to what would have been.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's a hollow victory, but
I mean,
it's a telling thing. It's like it's not as great as people think.
No, I am happy to hear you say that. I think it's a brighter interpretation than mine was.
I have to look for hope just about anywhere. It's like, one more topic before we go. I forgot to mention. So remember you were telling me about the whole writing on the tax bill thing at the end and how people couldn't read stuff?
Yes.
Apparently they couldn't write well either because there is a part of the tax bill that seems to have a glaring $283 billion mistake that would cost Americans a shit ton of money.
I mean, this is what happens when you you know, try to do your assignment last minute. Your grade can be
Yeah,
affected.
but
Which
this
again,
is
I don't
this
understand
is
how the fuck they can do that, but
I don't either. I don't. I think it should be outlawed to do that. I think once I don't think anything should be brought to the floor. Like I said last week, nothing should be brought to the floor without it being finished. Now, if you want to make an amendment vote later, sure, but you need to vote on what it is now, and then worry about that once you go through the whole. Because they're doing that now anyway. They're going through the whole rewrite and trying to get it prepared to be voted into legislation. So
and give
I
people time
don't.
to actually fucking read it.
Right.
So I was about to ask, 'cause I read, an article that talked about this error. Where do we go? How does this error affect us moving forward with this fucking thing? Do we have to do anything different, or are we just relying on the standard rewrite of it? I don't
They're
understand how
just
this system.
relying on a rewrite because that's what they were going to do with ACA, if you recall.
Okay.
When they were voting for it, their whole thing was, well, if it's a problem now, we'll fix it later once we get like past
Right.
the first initial vote. And that's pretty much what they're going to do with this. Is that whole we'll fix the problem later. We just need to get rid of this first and put in what we want. Then we'll worry about the details, which is very, very poor planning and leadership. It's just like you were just putting your computer back together. You just stick the motherboard in, and you just put your CPU in. No fan, no thermal paste. I'm just gonna save this for later. We'll come back to this when I'm ready. And meanwhile, your CPU's frying and about to collapse, while you're waiting till later to fucking fix the actual issue. That's what they're doing.
And yeah. And note, guys, that is just an analogy. I definitely have my thermal paste. I'm good.
Yeah, no, you make sense. They don't.
Yes, but no, I've talked a few times about the lack of faith in our system, and when you see a almost $300 billion fuck up, I think that just feeds more into people not trusting the government to be made up of competent adults.
And it goes back to the earlier theme that I was bringing about the whole check the box thing, because that's basically it. They're white male Republicans for the most part. There's a couple of women, but at least they're, you know, Christian, which is the third check box. So, they get a slide for being women. But it's like you have to have those certain things under the GOP, and it's damning to the country because you're not voting on the issues. You're not voting on the character of the person. You just don't want to see someone who thinks differently or that you were taught was evil not to be in there. Because people are taught Democrats are horrible, liberals, they just want to take away all your freedoms and your rights and things like that. Mind you, generally speaking, they've been the ones who've established a lot of those freedoms and those rights over the years, like the aforementioned 13th, 15th, 17th, and 19th Amendment.
Those aren't the freedoms they care about.
Exactly. It's like that's why I found it weird to see that lady talking about like, oh, I'm just going to vote for him because he's a good Republican Christian. It's like, do you realize that this man also said that he didn't want you to vote? If he would have
Yeah.
had his way, you wouldn't even be on TV talking about this because you wouldn't have the right to fucking vote.
Gotta raise those babies, man.
Like, I don't see how there's such big disconnect. They have to have those like things in place, and that's fine. I literally think that Trump could go right out right now and shoot one of his Secret Servicemen in the head, and people are like, oh, it's president. He can do whatever he wants. At least he's
I
not
don't
liberal.
agree. I think he would be praised because he shot a gun, and that'd be pretty badass.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying, like his base would just ignore it. They'd be like, "Well, he's
Yeah,
the president.
and
He's not a liberal."
it is concerning that he can't seem to shoot himself in the foot. He's got a fucking cannon attached to his armor for some reason. He just can't seem to off himself with
Only human beings have opposable thumbs, sir. So
it.
unlikely that he'll be able to hold a gun in his lifetime. That fucking ape.
But and again, the reason I painted that parallel earlier between him and Moore is Moore can't seem to do anything to turn his base against him. I
I
don't
take that
want
back.
to see this.
Hold on. Don't apes have like thumbs that work like humans can? Fuck it. It don't matter. He's a fucking giraffe. Let's call him that. All right. Sorry to interrupt you. Continue.
Oh, but this. And we've had issues with party loyalty before. It's not new, but he cannot seem for the life of him to say or do anything to turn this group of people against him. I don't want to see this become even worse than it already has been and spread over to more and more people. I don't want to live in the era of Trump.
Yeah, no, because he just makes like the worst than human beings come out, and I don't know. I really don't know. But I really need people to get beyond the whole checkbox politics thing. Definitely. And even as liberals, quote unquote, need to as well. Don't just vote for somebody just because they're liberal. While I do appreciate you liking what liberalism stands for, or progressive, progress. What would be the word for progressives?
I think
progressivism. I keep coming up with these words that I have no idea how to like say in certain terms. Mm-hmm. Like fucking hippopotamus is messing me up. Anyway,
I feel like I don't want to see how this Moore thing goes because, like I said, I keep drawing this parallel because if he wins, I feel like it's going to show me what I feared when Trump first got elected is that when Trump goes away, the problem won't go away because his techniques, his Trumpiness will have spread to other motherfuckers. If Roy wins, I feel like this proves that this shit can work.
See, I don't feel that dire only because I hate to be judgmental and stereotypical, but fuck it, I have to be. It's Alabama.
Okay. So you feel like they're not representative enough of the or that they probably would have done something like this anyway.
I hate to say this, but there are certain states that I always will have little to no faith in as far as being progressive and moving forward with the rest of us. Alabama, hate to say it, but Georgia. Arkansas is the weird one. They're the weird one in the South because they flip-flopped a lot. But Texas would be one of those places that I have no faith in to do the right thing.
It would have been
interesting. Wisconsin.
Be an interesting project to see if you could make them somehow change their culture around to swallow up progressivism a little better.
Yeah, because I'm not saying don't vote for a Republican, but vote for somebody who has better ideas that are more beneficial for you. Don't just be like, he's a Republican, so that's all that matters. Just like if you're a liberal, don't just vote for somebody because they're liberal. And we've seen the example of how people in the Democratic Party don't necessarily toe the line and go with just what's out there. Hillary is the shining example. People did not vote for Hillary at all. They didn't vote at all because they didn't agree with her. They drew a line in the sand. I mean, and as much as I hate it because it got that guy in the office, you have to admire that there is, a point where a lot of people who vote Democrat will say, no, I'm not having this. Even if it's...
I thought it was a stupid point.
It's for the most boneheaded reason in the fucking world. But at the same time, it's like Al Franken, hey, yo, you gotta go. John Connors, yo, you gotta go.
It wasn't.
Anthony,
Yeah, it
you
wasn't
gotta go.
blind party loyalty, no matter what.
No,
Yeah.
no, it's like, yeah, you could do good things, I'm sure, if you were put in certain places, but you're not a like decent person, so I can't trust that.
Yeah. I think the Franken thing is a better example than Hillary because I don't think they ever really liked Hillary. They certainly liked Franken and probably still feel
Yeah,
maybe not like him, but they don't like despise the motherfucker. They're like,
he's
sorry,
a
dog, you gotta get
disappointment.
the fuck out of here. You know, you
Yeah.
fucked up. We're not gonna like slit your throat, but go away.
Ooh, we just got closer.
Oh,
50.6 for Moore, 48% for Jones. Ooh, 68% of the vote in. This is like really, really close.
I'm sure people are gonna be like, if Jones wins, there's gonna be like tears of joy out there. It's
Um,
while that's going, you want to make any mention of the Port Authority bomber up in New York?
I totally forgot about that boneheaded idiot.
He took out
Um,
half the country, sir. How did you forget?
hmm?
He took out half the country. The shit was crazy.
Which that's what he deserved. But yeah, there was a recent attack where a guy he was planning on making a bombing attack, but it kind of went sideways, and the bomb went off earlier than he expected. Ended up injuring himself and three other people.
Done
Luckily,
dead.
he wasn't a competent fool,
Yeah.
um, and that nothing else happened to other people. But he, of course, came out and said that you know he was inspired by the ISIS attacks that had recently happened to do what he did. So Trump has another talking piece when he talks about his Muslim ban and his whole, build the wall thing, which, by the way, the Muslim ban was held up. The Supreme Court was like, yeah, it's okay, which I'm not surprised because they've seated the Supreme Court with a bunch of people who side with them a lot. So,
Yeah. I swear,
yeah.
like clockwork. When I saw that and I looked at Twitter, without fail, somebody's first thing was like, a white dude shot up a few people just a couple months ago. Like, I don't know. I cannot stand it. It feels that type of reaction feels just like whenever anybody criticizes Trump, the way those people say, "Well, fucking Obama" or "Hillary did this," like this knee-jerk reaction to just start whipping that out without directly addressing this issue first.
Yeah, because it's funny. I didn't even think about that. Well, you got white people killing hundreds of people in Las Vegas. I didn't even think about it. All I could think about is one, that guy's an idiot. I hope he blew his fucking legs off because he's fucking fool for trying that. Two, this is just going to make everybody hate all liberals more and more because, I mean, not liberals, but Muslims more and more because he said ISIS, and ISIS is the culmination of all things that's Muslim in a lot of people's mind. And
Mm.
so anybody from the Middle East, because if you're from the Middle East, you're clearly Muslim. Can't be anything else unless you're from Israel, but people won't know because they don't really know the difference. They just, but yeah. But
Yeah,
now it's just going to be another like piece for him to use in his war against Middle Eastern people.
I do feel like we should be more willing to talk about the relationship between religion and terrorism, which I get on my more liberal friends for because they're not willing to talk about it at all. And then you get psychos like Trump who are complete morons and racist, but they're the only ones that are talking about it at all. So it's like, I don't know, you have on our side this weird issue where nobody even wants to really discuss that. And then you're left with just racist psychos who want to equate all Middle Eastern people, I guess, without any real uh, thorough thought about this issue. But
Yeah, no, because I mean, there is a correlation. Religion has a correlation period with a lot of the, like, oddly enough, immoral things and bad things that people do. Um, it's one of the easiest ways to coerce people to do what you want. Because there's a lot of people out there just looking for something to believe in. Religion gives you that. Um, there's ways to interpret, religion in a way that suits your needs. People do it all the time. And when it comes to like fighting a war, saying that Allah wants blood spilled and stuff like that translates naturally. You have the jihad, which it's about bringing down fire and brimstone, basically, upon your enemies. So
it is psychic
yeah,
sounding, but yeah, I just wish because when I saw that person say, what about these Christian people or white people who did this and that? Don't gasp. You're gonna give me a heart attack. But I saw these people like, what about these white people? I'm like, yes, white people shoot people sometimes, but and I hate having to say this because I'm an atheist, so I don't really care for this shit in general, but it's like people are not committing acts of violence in the name of Christianity at the same rate. They do it. There are certainly people who commit acts, atrocities in the name of Christianity and shit, but it's not this frequent.
I would argue that it's not this frequent, but it's not as spoke about or as loud, to be quite honest. And when people do it, they don't necessarily evoke God all the time. Because again,
If they don't evoke God, then is it a religious matter?
Sometimes it can be. Again,
So give me an example, like a scenario.
a scenario.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a real example. Just
Uh, hell, we actually do have a real example. The guy who killed those 8 people, in that church in South Carolina. His whole thing was something about God made him do it or something like that. Usually, when Christians do things that are wrong, God is the kind of excuse, not the. It's kind of like God may said that I should do this, whereas I think with Muslim attacks is more of like I do this in the name of type of thing.
I could agree with that. I'm not sure I agree about the frequency thing. Maybe that's some numbers we can look at later. But I think even that distinction is important because when you look at the idea of jihad, it's not just a matter of interpretation. It's not like this foreign idea that's coming out of nowhere. If you read the Quran and the Hadith, like I could certainly see why jihad looks so. I don't want to get too deep into a discussion about the difference between Islam and the other major religions right now, but I think it's fair to acknowledge that there is a difference, at least today in practice. If you go back at certain points in history, you could probably say that Christianity is the most dangerous religion at those points, but right now, a lot of those, I don't think the numbers are as even as a lot of people think they are.
See, one of the things is we talk about terrorism and all of that much more than we talk about domestic violence type of things, and we don't get as detailed anything. And I think that's one of the other things is that with terrorism, it's generally it's a more international scale type of thing. So of course people are paying attention more. Whereas Joe Smo murdering, striking down a gay person in the name of God isn't necessarily high, ratings for the news. You know what I mean?
Perhaps.
It's just something that's just not going to be talked about. Because there are people who will do, but I do believe that there are probably more people than we know of that do things in the name of God. I mean, I'm not necessarily defending Muslims because, as I've said about all religions, I think there's a level of crazy within all of them. And Muslim seems to be the one that's the most highlighted.
I'm just wondering how unfair the highlighting is right now. Because, like I've said, I do. If you want to look at examples of Christian violence, you can look at
Well,
the
no, okay,
bombing of abortion clinics, for example.
but
They
no,
target
let's
that, but
be real. This guy who did the New York thing, he did not mention Allah at once. The guy earlier in New York, he didn't mention Allah at all. They
I mean,
both just said that they follow ISIS.
why is
That's
that
not a
not
religion.
sufficient?
ISIS isn't a religion.
Yes, Islam is the religion, and
Yeah,
ISIS
they
is
are,
the
but I'm just
Islamic
saying.
State. So,
I'm just saying they're following the practices of ISIS. They not didn't necessarily say that because this guy said specifically he was inspired by their attacks. He didn't say he was inspired by their philosophy or anything like that. He was inspired by their attacks. He didn't mention religion at all, but we just assume, well, that means that he's a crazy Muslim, which isn't necessarily true. Of course, he's going to end up being Muslim, so that makes him a crazy Muslim. It's like, but that's by default. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that he was just actually going out for the cause of Islam to do these things. I mean, yeah, ISIS does tie a lot of what they do with the religious thing. But again, let's look at our politics. While by no means am I trying to equate them to violent acts, but they're doing despicable things, and people are behind whatever they do because they're Christian. You know what I mean?
okay. I'm not sure I'm seeing the distinction when he says he's inspired by ISIS. I
He
think
said
it's a
ISIS
fair
attacks. He didn't
assumption.
say.
Yes, there are attacks, but I think it's a fair assumption that he's inspired by their attacks because he's part of the religion. Why else would
Why
he?
not?
What other reason
What
would he have?
inspired that white guy to leave the United States to join ISIS? Because he hated this country. He literally said that he didn't like the ideas of his country, and he wanted to go fight against the country because he didn't believe in the way that this country handled things.
Yes, but disdain for the West is built up in the Middle East in general. That is,
Well, and that's what I'm saying. It's like we all keep trying to throw it at the religion itself, but you have to realize that the disdain is probably the major key factor. So yeah, you're gonna go along with all of this because you fucking hate them. It's just like if you could find a way to get back at your worst enemy, you would probably adopt certain things just to do that. Like if someone, God forbid, like murdered your entire family, but the only way that you can get back at them was to join some weird like psycho group so you can get closer to them, that they can help you get to your gains. Sometimes you will do that stuff.
I would say some of that disdain is built in it's in the religion. It's like if you look at Nazi Germany, for example, you'll have people who are religious and they want to say, the Holocaust was a secular matter because whatever interpretation of Hitler's faith one has, or even looking
Christian.
Yeah,
he was Christian.
Some people doubt that, but a lot of people try to put that sort of issue and Stalin's issue as a matter of secularism toward the Jews, but disdain for the Jews comes out of Christianity. It doesn't come out of random secular air. It was out of the idea that they killed the savior or whatever the fuck he was. It is an idea that has existed for a long time, but its roots were in religion. It didn't disdain for the Jews does not come out of nothingness. I would say disdain for the West is pretty similar.
No, disdain for the West is their involvement, though. It's the political. It's imperialism. It's that weird. It's the things that we've done, like the religion. I mean,
yes, imperialism.
I would say this.
Yes,
where I would agree with you would be the what's his name? Oh gosh, the 100 Years of War, where Christians went over to the Middle East to take over because they taught everybody that you need to be Christians and we need to like own the Holy Land. So, is this them punching? Are you saying this is them punching back at us? Because I would agree maybe with that thing. I don't think it. I understand there are going to be religious undertones to everything, but I just don't. agree that everybody's motivation within these groups are the religion. I think, yeah, the religions were created just like, again, Nazis, with the whole hating the Jews things, and the Holocaust. I don't think Nazis today have that same type of view, or they at least not as strong, I would say.
Right. I think the point I'm getting at is yes, there are historical, socio-political issues there that spawn some of that. The point I'm getting at is people always see it as like either or. It's either completely a matter of those socio-political issues or it's the religion. And it can never be a combination with a lot of people, is what I am afraid of. So with the crazy sort of racist right, for them it's purely just Islam. It's not a matter of whatever interventions we might have had over there. And with the left, it's the opposite. It's always just the matter of how we dealt with them. It has nothing to do with any sort of religious dogma. And I don't see that it needs to be such a cut and dry distinction. It's a good looking face you got there.
These numbers.
I'm not sure I want to know what they are, but
you do want to know what they are. No, continue.
They'll set me either
continue, because they're ever changing. Just continue.
Yes, but I always feel like there's this desire to make a strong wall between religious motivations and everything else, and I do not recognize that distinction in most cases. I would say that because when I bring up the religion, a lot of people's first instinct is to say, they'll bring up the West intervention or actions and different stuff like that. And I've never argued that those are not factors. I just don't want to ignore religion as a factor.
Okay. I guess my point I'm trying to make is, yeah, do I think that there are some religious factors? Sure, there are. But to wholesale blame the whole entirety of that religion, I think is wrong. And that's where I have the biggest issue, because I want to keep people from making the mistake of saying, like, whether you believe in religion or not, to just condemn everybody, because there is an idea of what a good Christian is. There is a lot of people's like standard generic idea of what a good Christian is. It's not what that lady who's voting for Roy Moore thinks. For them, it's not as loose of a term. Just like there's such things as good Muslim people. The point is, just because you're of a certain religion does not mean that you're not a good person.
No,
my whole point. And I think that's what the argument. That's why I have a hard time like listening to people make that argument, because I feel like they're just making that wholesale thing to where you have these things like the Muslim bans, and you have the people wanting to, like, Trump figuring all Mexicans are criminals. Let's build a wall type of thing. It's that's where I want people like, yeah, I won't argue that religion any religion must, again, jihad. That's not a cool thing. But that doesn't mean that everybody wants to do that.
Right. And what I'm getting at is I think we would be, I say we, I mean like us on the more liberal side of things. I think we would be better able to communicate that because a lot of us here tend to just ignore the religion as a factor at all. And when I was talking earlier about, those more crazy racist element of, the religious right of our country, I guess, a lot of us won't talk about the religion at all, which leaves them to be the only ones who do it. And I think that's part of the problem, because I would argue, like you say, being a member of a particular religion does not in itself make you a bad person. But we can never really have that conversation because we're not willing to acknowledge any part the religion has in it. So we tend to not even be part of that conversation. I think that's part of what causes the religious right to become so radical on these issues, because we're not really taking their arguments seriously. And I would disagree with a lot of their arguments, but we need to talk more about them and acknowledge what effects the religions do have.
Yeah.
Not to say that we shouldn't, acknowledge the other many other issues. Our interventions, our historical relations with other countries and whatnot. Those are definitely part of the equation. But many people have criticized the left on not being willing to talk about the religious aspect of this issue. And they're not necessarily wrong. And the fact that we don't just leaves that door wide open for all those racist psychos to just walk right through.
Yeah, I could see wanting to have the conversation. I just hope that if that conversation happens, people can be able to separate. Because again, I can't just totally condemn all Muslims. It's like I can't totally condemn all Christians. It's like I can't totally condemn all atheists. Because I mean, there's such things as atheist murders. There's such things as Christian murders.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where your ex went, huh?
Right. Yes. Nobody breaks up with me. Too goddamn lovable. You kidding me? You love me like you love your life.
Oh, Lord.
But I talked about wanting to point out the differences between religions, and I know upon hearing that, some people might think that I want to just like go after Islam for some particular reason.
Yeah, which you're equal opportunity.
Yes, I am, but I think it's just as a matter of fairness, because in 2017, it's not like we hear too many, Buddhist attacks. I mean, there's and even take away Islam for a second, even compare them to Christians. If you were comparing Christians and Buddhists as far as religiously motivated violence, I'm pretty sure the numbers are not equal by a long shot.
Yeah, I agree.
And there's a reason.
By the way, I need to make mention of why I'm making all these crazy faces. So far, right now in the Alabama election, the count is 49.7% for Moore, 48.6% for Jones. You know where the difference is, though? The write-ins, 1.2% of the people wrote in. If he had that, he would be winning. Who the fuck are we winning?
Who the fuck did they write in for?
It's funny because I've made comment of that before, like how if people really want to vote Republican, write in somebody that you want. I would rather you write it than to vote for this scumbag. And so that's probably where a lot of those people are coming from. They're probably right, although they're probably writing in fucking goddamn Tillerson. Shit.
Well, at least they'll be writing in a real person.
Holy shit. It's 49.3% to 49.1% right now. And they still got 14% of the vote to count.
Oh my God, we might fucking.
Oh my God. I am going to be up all night trying to figure this shit out. This is fucking crazy.
Gonna keep me up too. But hopefully, if there's any Muslim listeners out there, you don't think I want you on the wrong side of that wall. Because I do find that issue quite difficult to talk in a way that talking about Christianity.
No, but I understand kind of why people want to not on the left talk about it, because it just seems like you're just beating up on them. It goes back to that whole like, well, the whole white people doing the petition about feeling like they're being attacked. Like it's right. You're not allowed to be white or something like that. It's like, no, it's not that you're not allowed to be white, but generally speaking, when fucked up shit happens, it tends to be by a white. So yeah, now what I think, I understand what your argument means, because yeah, it is. It's not like it's not something that you don't see in the news all the time.
And I think to put it, in a more succinct way, I want us on the left to be more comfortable talking about it, and I'm not trying to shit on people on the right, but they have a stronger racist element, and I don't want them dominating that conversation because they're not responsible with it. Because, like you said, they tend to just cast
it's a blanket thing. It's like all black people steal, all
right. And notice we on the left have a better conversation about race and sex and stuff like that than they do on the right. Again, no offense, guys, a bunch of racist, whatever. But I want us to be more involved in that conversation than we are because we can do better.
He's 1,400 votes behind this man. Holy shit.
I wanted to see what Trump and him are going to say if they lose.
Even if he wins, he's going to win by like the slimmest of chance.
Oh, God. All right. So what are you going to do
now
if
it has him tied? What the hell? 13% of the vote left.
So you have like a special drink there you've been saving if he wins?
No, I don't have any alcohol on me. God damn it.
You're wasting your life, bro.
Holy shit.
At least I don't drink alcohol. I can say that. Plus, there are portions of the
goddamn liberal
Muslim population I think we ignore because we're not willing to talk about it, you know.
Yeah, and that's where it gets dicey, and that's why people don't necessarily understand how these issues go and why things like the Muslim ban end up flying. Because you kind of could you imagine if there were like a white male ban, something like that for all the stuff?
Yeah. Country would be a whole lot more chocolatey, I guess.
Oh my god, now there'd be a lot of mixed people still.
Boom. I mean, there would be more women available, so fuck it, why not? I mean, I think white males are the majority of males, so fuck it. I'm single. I need somebody.
That was a playing field for me. This election is tied. He only has a 600 vote lead.
I'm not a good-looking guy. I need a better shot, man. So fuck it. Get him out of here.
Holy shit! He only has a 500 vote lead now. Holy shit!
But
this is gonna have me up all night because this is a god damn it. This is a goddamn presidential election all over again. Holy shit. But like that, I'm going to go to bed early because I'm going to start feeling that feeling of dread. I know it.
At least it's not as stressful. But
yeah, no, I tapped out around 11 because I was like, you know what? She's not going to win. As soon as I saw fucking North Carolina and Ohio go to Trump, I was like, she's done. And then Pennsylvania went, and I was like, I'm gone. Just like,
what is the name of this fucking book? I'm gonna suggest it to anybody who cares to listen at this point. Islam and the Future of Tolerance. It's a short little book suggestion for any of you guys out there. It's like it's written like a conversation between a guy named Sam Harris and a guy named Majid Nawaz. One of them is Majid Nawaz is a Muslim who has desires to kind of reform the religion, you know, sort of the way that I shouldn't make this analogy, but the way that Christian Reformation happened, and then Christianity got a little less crazy.
Yeah, you don't want it to reform like that either.
Not like that, but
you want real reform.
Yes, he wishes to examine the way the book is interpreted and whatnot, and change it a bit from the inside, I guess, but not like that. I just thought maybe some people were aware that Christianity has gone through changes to be a little less nuts.
I need to control my facial expressions.
No, I think they're wonderful.
Jones is in the lead.
And the other guy is Sam Harris. He's dirty fucking atheist, so don't listen to him. But
of course you don't.
It's a nice conversation between the two, though, and it's as a book, it's super short. So if you guys want to read or listen to that, I throw that out there.
This is gonna be so goddamn nerve-wracking. I need to stop watching this. All right, yeah, I think we need to end this conversation so I can flip Mark the fuck out. Oh my god,
we're not gonna see what the fucking result is. What?
I mean, I kind of want to. It's at 88%. It keeps flip-flopping. At first it was Jones, then it was Moore, then it was Jones, then it was Moore. Now it's back to Jones, but Jones actually has a 0.4% lead rather than it being both of them generally tied for the exception of a couple of hundred votes. Jones actually has about a 5,500 vote lead now. So he actually has a tangible lead. And now he has a 49.7% vote versus 48%. So now he has a percentage lead, which is good enough to win. If he can keep that percent, he's going to be the fucking senator.
So you got to decide what we're going to do, depending on
who
wins. If Moore wins, you have to read the whole Bible and give us a book.
I will get it on tape. I've been having trouble sleeping lately, so that'll help. I shouldn't have said that. Forgive me, Grandma. I know you, Grandma. I'm sorry, but
Are you sorry that it's so boring, or that you're bored by
I'm sorry for the retribution that I'm gonna get from her shade.
it? I
But
mean, it's not anybody's fault that it's written so badly, so boringly, which is bad, I guess.
no, it was written for its time, and I guess that's the way people. Well, it's just like the Constitution, poor language.
Yeah, it's dry as fuck.
And poor, just no, it's poor language. Period. Even
Yeah.
though again, y'all Second Amendment people, it's such a poorly written amendment. Like you do realize that it's saying that we can draw a militia. It's like no, you can't. There's no militia.
I'm pretty sure it's saying that we have the right to own a set of actual bear arms, like from a bear in the wild.
That would be fucking awesome.
I didn't read the rest of it. I just saw bear arms. I was like, yeah, bear arms. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Want that shit.
Or for years we've been denying women the right to show their arms, and it's always been in there in the Second Amendment. It says the bare arm. What the fuck you wearing long sleeves for?
Finally. Something to masturbate to.
Speaking of which, could you never mind. That's another tangent. Because I can't imagine like how it was when people used to think like those like full body one piece bikinis that women used to wear was so scandalous. Like, oh my god, her legs are showing. Like, what? Like Jesus, like how far?
We've come a long way.
How far we've come, but how long it still took us to get to here, and how much more of a distance we probably have to go.
I mean, there's not much more you can.
God damn it! This is suspenseful. They're at 89% of the vote, and Jones is up by 1%.
He's gonna take it, man. I just jinxed that motherfucker. But I don't think we can go much further, dude. Like, there's not much more clothes you can take off. Like, go to a beach. That's about it. Some of them are nude beaches. Like,
yeah,
we've hit the unless we start taking off our skin, we've hit the exposure limit.
Yeah.
This is it. We crossed that finish line. Sorry, bro. It's over.
Yeah. Yo, this is so fucking weird. They're showing. It's so funny because they're showing like Jones's campaign headquarters, and in the crowd you see a good mix: white, black, older, younger.
I want to see.
I want to see Roy Moore's. I just feel like I'm just gonna see nothing but a bunch of hoods.
I just want
like white sheets and hoods.
I just hope Trump is awake and on Twitter.
Oh, he will be. Oh, he will be. He's gonna be tweeting. By the way, we're kind of stretching at this point, people, because I'm trying to like hold off because I want to see the result, to see if like there is hope for civilization or it's just
I just don't have a life, so I don't give a fuck.
I have to be up, but I think we'll use this as the ending point. This way we'll have something to talk about next podcast. But I'm still going to be sitting here making the oohs and ah faces because this shit is crazy. Is at 90%. He still has a 1% lead. I need him to build a bigger lead. I need to end up being something like 52 to 46, 47. That way, like when they start calling for recounts and all that shit, it'll be very, very hard to make a case for that. Seriously, I don't need this to be like taken to court and all that shit. No, fuck that. Make it a somewhat decisive victory, so we don't have to like hear about this in the news for weeks and weeks and weeks. I don't want another fucking Bush Gore situation. That's for damn sure.
I guess we're leaving you fuckers on the cliffhanger, so don't look at the news. We'll tell you.
Wait until like next Tuesday. Find out. Will a racist, pedophilic old man win, or Well, a guy that we honestly don't know much about because all people always talk about is the pedophile.
I know what I need to know. He's a fucking Democrat.
He checks the box.
Gross.
He checks the box. Okay, that's all you had to word. Check the box.
I
Boom.
can't believe they're even allowed to walk the street. Should be in prison.
With all the blacks and the
Where they belong.
homosexuals. All right, we're done. Again, thank you guys for watching. We appreciate your time. Hopefully, we'll see you next time if we haven't totally offended you on this episode of The Reason Reborn. Any parting words you have to say, sir?
Don't hate me, Muslim people. I'm also next to Christians. So, because I know that is a topic that tends to inspire rage no matter how carefully I approach it. But we should approach it, so I shouldn't talk about how we should all talk about ideas and shit and not be willing to approach certain ideas. So,
again, all death threats go to him on Twitter at CardiacSimo. Boom.
I can't wait for my first death threat. That's all I know. I made it.
I know once somebody has something that calls you stupid, you know you're in there. I've been in there for a while. By the way, I got my first sub tonight. By the way, on my sub on Twitch.
Oh,
happy. Thank you, SB.
Sub?
No. Didn't have any subs. Nobody wants to give me $5. But it's 40% now. It's 20% off now on all subs on Twitch. So looking for a good way to support this channel, head over to Twitch and just sub your $5 a month to me so I can funnel it into paying for some equipment and all this stuff so I can make this a more fancier, better, professional podcast. Okay, please.
I could probably sub too. I never subbed anything on Twitter or Twitch because I'm like, then I'll get notifications. I don't watch Twitch like that. So it's like,
and I don't blame you. Although you can turn that off now.
Yeah, that's because pretty much
thing with sub. You can sub 1 month and then you can turn it off so it doesn't automatically repay. But they do allow you to do that. And if you have Amazon Prime, it's free.
Oh shit, I do, so I can do that. But
there you go.
Pretty much just you, Fry, and like Wiza. Sometimes I'll hop on Twitch and watch, but otherwise I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Twitch, yeah, it's too much work. I gotta remember. I don't even remember what my original account shit was. That's why you see me on there as like Cardiac Sumo 1 because I can't remember how to get into Cardiac Sumo.
You know, you can just reset your password, sir.
I don't have access to the email that thing is like.
Oh damn.
It's like an old Yahoo account, and I just don't know how the fuck to get into it anymore.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because Yahoo's about to go out of business too.
Good. Take all my horrible shit with them.
Somebody's buying AOL and Yahoo and like turn them into one big thing.
I hope they delete all
our Yahoo email address. Get ready to switch over to Gmail or something else.
Which you should have fucking done a long time ago.
I know.
There's a reason I don't remember what my Yahoo is. Come on, dog.
Yeah, who fucking uses Yahoo anymore? Fucking liberals. Anyway, that's gonna be it for the show, guys. Thank you again. I'm so sorry if I offended you in any shape or form. Don't hate me. All right, y'all. We're out of here. Peace.